Welcome back, guys. So I've been seeing a lot of talk today about a PlayStation 5 Pro, a PSP 5G, and I just wanted to dig into this a little bit because there's been some articles out there. I've had a couple people share some information with me, and I just thought, I don't really know about this. Isn't it kind of too early to be talking about a PS5 Pro? And Sony with handhelds, while they've made some amazing stuff, the original PSP, the PlayStation Vita, my God, so many enjoyable memories playing games on those devices. I think they were excellent portables, just kind of marred by how Sony handled the proprietary memory and a few other little issues here and there. It was definitely unfortunate. PS Vita didn't have first party support for a long while. It was a lot of that third party Japanese support with tons of role playing games and quirky other little games coming out for it, where Sony just gave up on it pretty early on, which was kind of disappointing. It was carried on for quite a while with some really cool games, though. But a lot of these people out here who are talking about this, they're basing it on this patent that Sony has concerning a scalable game console, CPU, GPU designed for home console and cloud gaming. I specifically control F'd cloud gaming because that's one of the biggest things people are talking about. I wanted to see how many times it was even mentioned in this patent. And there's two parts to this. There's diagram and this actual patent. We'll kind of look at a little bit of both, but it's only mentioned 3 times in the patent. Holy crap. So where's all this coming from? So let's just jump into this a little bit. Essentially, this patent talks about like a multi GPU console, having 2 GPUs, one GPU rendering certain aspects of the image and then the other GPU doing the other part, not both doing the same thing. One's doing one and the other's doing the other. It's beyond the scope of my intelligence on how all that works, but it's a dual GPU, 2 of them. One rendering one thing, one rendering another thing. Okay, got it. Not unheard of, but pretty interesting to hear about, right? So the publication date on this patent was in July of this year, and it was first filed in the beginning of January of 2019. For sure, the PS5, had gone through, its development phase and was being finalized around this time. Maybe there was some other things they were looking at before they put the final stamp of approval on what they were going with. I'm sure it was a little later on than this, but for sure during this timeline, maybe they were still floating around a lot of different ideas and things they could do. So essentially, I'm not going to read all this. I will put a link in the description so you could go through all this if you want. But it talks about how this will work. And essentially, in non-technical terms, this goes quite a bit in depth on how all the buffer stuff works and all that. Like I said, just one GPU renders one thing, the other renders another, right? So why all of a sudden these PSP 5G rumors, which were originally brought up a couple years back, people thought there was going to be a follow-up, but then I had to look it up. But I remember Jim Ryan, the president and CEO of Sony, this guy, I know I say he kind of looks like Gordon Ramsay, but he specifically stated about a year ago in an interview, I believe it was with Game Informer, that no, we're not doing any handhelds. Not in the plans, bro. Like, the Vita was amazing. It was an awesome device, but we're focused on other things at this time. Could that have changed between late last year to now? Sure, it's possible, but how is it that a patent from over a year ago, almost 2 years ago when it was first filed, how does this breathe new life into a PSP 5G? I mean, a lot of people are hopeful, but I just don't necessarily think this is going to happen. So yeah, I had to search for cloud gaming here. The application relates generally to scalable game consoles for home and cloud gaming. I would essentially think that may mean, like, for the cloud side of things, that they would use, a system with 2 GPUs, but I'm not 100% on that, because what they're talking about here with the home console is having a light version of the console, maybe what the PS5 is right now, and then having a higher end one that has dual GPUs. That's, the higher end one, right? So a PS5 Pro essentially is what this could possibly turn into. But like I said, this patent is pretty damn old, dude. I mean, it's not like crazy old, it's, almost 2 years old now. But here's the diagrams for this patent here. which goes quite a bit more in depth. This is available through that first link that I'm going to share. You just click on, what was it? Says up here somewhere. Download the PDF for the patent images. So you can go ahead and take a look at this stuff as well. Just diagramming how everything works. Client, game console, cloud gaming management server, and then boom, they have everything diagrammed, the RAM, the server, how everything's going to function and work, floating around. Wonderful. Then you get down here, which is the only spot that this actually mentions where cloud gaming is diagrammed. So it states the video encoder 608, which is in the diagram. We'll take a look at that in a second. Is particularly applicable to cloud gaming scenario for allowing encoding of the same images would normally have been output through HDMI or on HDMI, right? That's the last spot through all these pages that it's mentioned, that cloud gaming is mentioned. And that diagram is down here a wee bit, just a wee bit. Video encoder, boom. Scan out unit, register, buffer ID. Here's the GPU. Okay, so technology could be applicable to multiple things that they're doing here. And I think one of the biggest reasons people are talking about that PSP 5G is because Sony has talked about in the past 5G, but across Sony group, like they encompass more than just PlayStations. You know what I mean? They also have phones. They also have a lot of other different technology out there. So they could be jumping into something else. I have a old Xperia Play phone, which was essentially the PlayStation phone. I think that thing was amazeballs. If I could find it, I'll put up a little clip. I still have it. But I love that little thing, man. And maybe that's something that they're looking into. The PSP 5G could be a cell phone, an Xperia phone. Maybe, bringing back that PSP style phone, but in a different form factor, maybe. Possibly just for cloud gaming. Like it could be a decent phone, has 5G. You have a good connection through 5G on my phone. My wee little phone right here. I could play, xCloud and Google Stadia decently well without being, on a Wi-Fi network. So it could be possible they could be streaming some games, but I just think with the age of the information here, I just don't really understand how all of a sudden there's this new PSP coming out, how the PS5 Pro is coming out. A lot of rumor mill type stuff, and it's cool to discuss those things, talk about it, and wonder what the future may hold. But the PlayStation 5 had just came out, and I don't really trust Sony when it comes to handhelds and the way they have managed them in the past. Like I said, oh my God, the Vita and the PSP were amazing. I love them so much. I still have I have a PSP Go, which, it's the digital version. I still dig that thing. And then I have that Xperia Play phone, and then I do have a PlayStation Vita and a PS TV. I love the games that run on those devices, and I think they were fantastic, just not managed properly by Sony. So that's why I don't know that I would trust them if they did decide to put out a new PSP. But, all signs point to that if they do, it's going to be a phone that streams cloud gaming to it. PlayStation 5 exclusives on the phone? Maybe. I don't know, but I would imagine, Sony wants to sell those games. They want to sell, hardware. Are they really going to jump into something like that right away? Especially, like I said, Jim Ryan, friggin' Gordon Ramsay right here. Where's the lamb sauce? He specifically said, no handhelds, dude. So if any of these rumors could be true, it's possibly just a phone. Or it could just be wishful thinking. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think down below. Really do appreciate it. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Bye-bye and boom. Bye, big ass thumb butt. What?